Back to the OK Turbo shop. Let's start building an airplane. So this is starting the construction of our Starstreak 200 J&H Aerospace kit. So first thing I'm going to do here is just kind of get everything prepped. I've got the plans down. I've actually covered them in what this is plastic sheet. It's actually the backing sheet for some monocoat. So from back in the radio control days, you'd have to peel off the backing before you iron on the monocoat. So always save that because that's good covering to protect your plans. Then I've got another layer here just for my little science experiment I'm getting ready to do. This is actually one of the bags that Josh bagged up the kit in. So all I did was cut it open and use it. So it's kind of a modeler thing. You try and use whatever you can. So anyhow, I like to use old school cement. They used to be Ambroid. For years I used a product called Sigment from Sig. I think Sig's still around, but they're not nearly what they used to be. They used to have a giant catalog that was an inch thick that I would just study when I was a kid back in the 70s. Just had everything under the sun for model airplanes. So what I use these little syringes, and this is one I've had around for a while. You can find these on Amazon. These I got on Amazon. They're just same thing. It's just it doesn't have the little bend to it, but I like to use like a cement, and the cement that I use is from Aircraft Spruce. It's called Fab Tack, and it's the closest thing I've found to the old Sigment. May even be the same exact thing. Looks the same, smells the same, works the same. But as it comes in this can from, this is enough to last forever. I just recently threw away my old can that had lasted for years. And what I'd have to do every once in a while is put some acetone in there to kind of keep it liquid. There's still a small amount in there, but it's gotten really thick. If I wanted to, I could add some acetone to that, stir it up, and reinvigorate it. But that's what this I just got a little plastic jar that I use here, and this is my thin cement. So what I'm fixing to do here is add a little more cement to that, then add some acetone. There's the giant jug of acetone that I think I got it at Walmart, maybe at a Sherwin-Williams place. So always keep some acetone around. Plus I use the acetone to clean my hands. I'll dip a shop towel down in that to clean the glue and stuff off my hands. So I always have a little bit of acetone, but what I'm going to do is pour a little bit of this into this jar, and then this is basically my working cement. And then from this jar, you go into your syringe. So let me kind of go through here. And this is a brand new can of Fab Tack. So let's see if I can do this without making a giant mess. But that's also why I covered it up here too. So let's see if I can do this. Yeah, a little bit of a mess. You gotta watch me clean it up. As I sit here or I stand here and think about it, I could have used that syringe to suck it out. Oh well, live and learn. Next time. Like I said, that other can of Fab Tack cement I've had around for years. This other deal, always keep shop towels handy. So when that stuff came out, I don't know if you could tell, but it's really dark. And you can tell the stuff that's been thinned. So I'm going to add quite a bit of acetone to this. And the reason I like to use the cement is because, it's something that I've always used since I was a kid on rubber-powered planes, etc. But back then it was Ambroid or Sigment. I mostly use Sigment. I think Volair product sells something that's similar, and he may actually be like getting some of that fab tack. And what that is, that's actually for like vintage airplane restores. If you've got an old Stearman or a Piper Cub that's fabric covered, they still use that fab tack cement to glue the fabric onto the wings and other surfaces. So let's go ahead and just add some acetone. This is what I should have done with that cement. Like I said, it's a little bit of a science experiment happening here, but as I was trying to say, but I get distracted so easily, is I like to use this cement because you can reposition things and you can take things apart. When the CA glues first came out, there was Hot Stuff. That's one I remember, Hot Stuff. And it was like this, you know, high-tech, magical thing where the glue would instantly cure. I can remember several times I glued my fingers together. When you're holding something, you put some of that really thin CA on there. But the one thing about it is it's very difficult to get it apart once that's happened. I'm trying to find myself a stir stick here. I have a good stir stick. Okay. And the acetone will thin it right down. And as it gets thicker, you know, you just add a little more acetone. But like as you're building your plane, you're using the cement. I mean, you do have to wait for it to dry. It's not an instant thing. But I mean, patience, that's one of the things about building model airplanes. And I'm kind of old school. I'm kind of a Luddite. But like if something has happened, something shifted, I need to rewarp something, I need to take something apart, I can get a Q-tip with some acetone, soak it, put it on that joint. Takes a little while, you work it in, but it will dissolve that cement. And you'll be able to reposition it, take it apart, whatever you need to do. So here's the other trick. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up the syringe with that thinned out cement. Right about there. You kind of learn the tricks. You're always going to lose a little bit here, but I just have a modeling pen that I use to that's that. So now there's the cement is ready to go. And I refill it, reload it with that, and then when this gets down, I get the big jar, do the same thing all over again. So there's that. The plans are laid out. I'm going to reposition things. I always like to start on the wing, so I'm going to get it onto my building board. This is an old balsa board I got years ago, balsa building board. I think Great Plains sold it. Old company called Great Plains. Maybe it was Goldberg, Carl Goldberg products. Can't remember, but years ago you'd use a big old planks of balsa wood. Now balsa wood's so expensive, it's kind of not really the way to go anymore. But luckily I still have this one. So I'm going to reposition things, get the wing so it's in the center of my building board, and then we'll start laying out the parts and gluing it together. So